Yo, what's going on, guys? Steel Michael here, and welcome back to another video. Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy holidays to all that are celebrating. I hope you had a great Christmas, and I hope you have a great New Year. I hope you got to spend lots of times with your family, and if you receive presents, if that's something you do with your family, that you received awesome ones, lots of presents. That is actually the topic of today's video. I got a present from my mom that I'm really, really excited about because, well, she got Krampus, which is kind of heavy, actually. Which I'm really excited for because it's one that I've wanted ever since he was released back in 2020. But I never got him because he was, one, online only, and two, way out of my price range for animatronics. And she ended up getting it for me for Christmas, which is just super awesome, super exciting because I never would have gotten him otherwise. He was, like I said, just a little too expensive for me. Fortunately, she did use a coupon, so thank God for that, because you should never be spending full price on Spirit's website, ever. Always get at least a 20% off coupon, just a little PSA there. But anyway, guys, I wanted to do this for the Christmas special. I figured this would be really cool to unbox. I mean, it's very fitting, and, you know, instead of doing my usual Happy Holidays video that I usually do, since it's convenient, since it works, since they have Krampus, I might as well just unbox him, set him up for the Christmas video, because this is literally the most fitting animatronic you can have for the holidays. So you guys kind of got to look at the box. It's kind of heavy. Very cool. One of the coolest boxes that Spirit has, that Spirit's done, honestly. All their licensed ones are very cool, actually. But we don't really so much care about the box. Right now, we care about setting them up. So, yeah. Let's get to that. So this is actually the first new unboxing that I've done in a while. Like my last two were of reboxes from my store. This one is obviously online only. I believe in 2020 there was a rare chance that you could get one of them in box at a store, but then after that, 2021, 2022, there's little to no chance. Like, there's no chance of this guy showing up in stores at all. So very, very uncommon. So very excited to have this guy new in box to set up. And this is going to be a completely genuine first time unboxing, which is exciting. So first thing you open here, you get a piece of cardboard here, which is just kind of covers up and protects a lot of it. And the first thing I'm noticing is how large this guy is, how large the parts are. Very exciting. I'm super hyped to do this. This is probably my favorite prop that I've received. Honestly, my favorite prop that I own. And probably going to be one of my favorite unboxings to do. Probably a great one to cap off the year and end off on a high note. So I'm really excited to do that. So with all that ranting, let's actually get to the unboxing now. So the first thing that is in the box is his hand with the ring, which is just a massive hand, for one. I don't believe he's quite the scale as, say, Crouchy, but obviously they try to make him screen accurate. But still a just humongous hand, and very cool. You can see that ring there. Very nice touch that they included that. Very, very cool. And looks like a Velcro probably for his outfit to get put on there. So that's the first thing you'll see in there. Next thing that I can pull out here is, I believe this will be his back plate here with, it kind of looks like a spine popping out, which is pretty cool and creepy. Very large too. I believe a lot larger than any other like back plates I've seen. One thing I can say right off the bat, with only having a few items out, is he's definitely very well detailed, which is very, very cool and something I love to see. Here. Up next is his other hand, which also has two rings, which I didn't even know from watching the movie, having seen the movie a couple times, several times actually, and from looking at the images. You can see these are his two other rings here. I'm sorry, I'm doing a little bit different for the lighting for this video. I don't have the ones in front, so hopefully everything still looks fine. But yeah, once again, I do want to emphasize how excited I am to have this one, because I was actually really worried that well, I was hoping at some point that he would get discounted or something, but that never happened. Once again, just another piece of cardboard here. I was worried that he was going to go out of stock one day and just never come back, and then I would feel bad that I never decided to go for it. But I have him now, so that's awesome. I'm really excited about that. Next thing is his adapter box, which is labeled R. I'm not going to take the adapter out right now. Just the standard adapter, I'm sure. I'm going to take this piece of cardboard out, which is holding his mechanism. Oh, actually, first thing is this, which I think might be for his front. I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but it's just like a V-shape plastic cover piece with two prongs here. Not exactly sure what it is, but I'm sure I will figure that out. You can hear the bells ringing there, which is cool. Here we go. We can see this is his mechanism with the cardboard protectors right here. Very large, once again. Something I'd like to emphasize on this guy is just how large the animatronic is, and not necessarily in height, but in height as well. He's about 6.5 feet, it says on the box, but wide too. You can see how wide his shoulders are, and this is just a lot larger than anything like Bog Zombie or Nozzles, any of those regular animatronics. I don't think it's by the same company. It's not, actually, but just absolutely huge, which is just really freaking awesome. Oops, gotta be careful there. Here we go. Okay, stuck in the cardboard wrap there. Kind of not used to doing these unboxings where they're new in box, so getting back into that. His arms, which are surprisingly kind of small, but you don't really see them much. It's just probably to give the arm bend, really. But those are his arms. You can see up next, we've got both of his horns, which are just awesome as well. Very cool. Kind of a plastic, or they are a plastic here, with a little bit of fur on top, and they look like they'll lock into something here. Very cool. Just really super long, too, as you can see. We're getting there. There's a lot of parts here, a lot of parts for this one. You can see what looks to be his shoulder frame with more plastic covering. A lot of plastic coverings, which is honestly kind of nice. It's going to give some good form there. And you can see just how wide his shoulders are, which is just insane. Additionally is a chain, one of the chains here. And I will pull the other chains out here, which are attached to belts here. As you can see in here. There's like a large bell here and a small one here, and then another small one here. So let's figure out how those go in a bit here. Actually, that's not all. There is another set right here with, like, I don't know what this is for. It's probably just some tape or something. In here, it looks like it's his cloak, his outfit here. Super cool. Super excited to see how that looks when it's all said and done. Let's see. Up next is one thing at a time here. His base, which is honestly kind of surprisingly small. I mean, it's a large base, and I'm sure it'll work just fine. But it's surprisingly small compared to everything else. It's about the same size as Bog Zombie or Nozzles here, just for comparison. And attached are all the poles you'll need. More cardboard and another chain, it looks like. Very cool. Next is one of his hooves, which this is huge too. This is everything in this box other than that. The base is absolutely ginormous here. You can see the hoove is just way bigger than my hand here. And it's got some nice fur detailing there, made out of kind of like a hollow plastic here. Very cool. And I believe he only has one hoof, I think, based on the stance he's in. I think, yeah, only one hoof sticks out, which is kind of an interesting choice. I would have included a second one in case you wanted to make him look like his position different, but not a big deal. And last but not least, his head and his face, which is just very creepy. It's just like a old man, goat thing, demonic Santa Claus. It does look like it needs a little bit of styling here, but really, really creepy actually when you look at it up close. Really great detailing on this, like very good wrinkles, creepy eyes. That mouth is just creepy. You can see there. Super cool. And obviously this must be for the horns here. So kind of a strange looking head when you have it out on its own, because it's got the metal poles here. But once you have it all set up, it will look awesome. So that is the last item in there for parts. Then there will be the instructions here, which I might actually use. I've seen some people commenting about the color and fit quality of the instructions in the past, so I will just mention it. It's good. It's good enough quality. The colors are a little bit dull, but honestly, I'll be able to figure it out. So I don't know why you would need like super high quality prints. So it works, but I just thought I'd mention it because people mention it sometimes. But anyway, that's all we have for the parts here. That was very lengthy because it's a new item, or new to me, has never been opened. So let's get started on the setup. Alright, so as I do my setup, I'm going to be using this box here just for the first part, as I like to do, just so you guys can kind of get a look at the base here, but then I'll move it down as I go. One thing I do want to note is the setup might not go as smoothly as, say, a Bog Zombie setup. Definitely will go smoother than Nozzles here, because Nozzles, this setup was just weird, especially near the end. But since this is a new item, it's going to probably be a little bit rougher, and it's going to be a little less informative, more experimental, because I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm sure I should be able to figure it out and get the gist of it. But anyway, let's get this started. First, I'll just take these off, and then we'll start stacking the poles. Here, there is a actual spot on the base here. These are the two for the main like structure, and then there happens to be this one up near the front. Now, the one up near the front is going to go to this pole labeled B here, and that is, I assume, for the one hoof that sticks out. So I'm just going to insert that now. But then, as you can hopefully see here, we have a few poles of different sizes, E and D. So, obviously, two D poles will go, or one on each side here. And you do your pole stacking, as I always like to say, my favorite part. Not really, but, you know. It's not usually too hard, and it's usually pretty simple to understand. So you just stack them up here, and that gives some of his height, actually quite a bit of his height, to be honest. Like so. So that's that. Up next, I am going to slide his hoof over here. So it should be pretty simple. You just slide it through. There's a little hole in the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. I know it's like dark, so you might not be able to, but you do slide it over here. And oh my gosh, like sort of like that. There you go. And that kind of actually locks in a little bit too. Like that's not really gonna swivel a whole heck of a lot. So that is his pole set up. Now I believe there isn't going to be any leg forms to go into here because of the fact that he's wearing a cloak, which is, I don't have any animatronics like that I'm aware of other than an old Pan Asian Creations one. But anyway guys, up next I would assume is going to be attaching his mechanism and all of that stuff, so let's get that set up. Alright, so up next I'm going to be attaching his like main torso thing. So as I mentioned before, they've got these cardboard things which help protect the metal poles, which I really appreciate. I really like that they've been doing that. I've never had any issues with the poles getting dented in previously, but it's just nice to have that as an extra precaution, you know, just to make sure. I especially appreciate that. So next I'm going to pop this in here. These just stack on the poles like so. I think it's going to be easier if I can get them both aligned first before sliding them both completely down, it looks like. So it is a little wobbly, but I assume that'll be okay. Trying to get these to lock in is a bit challenging. Poles sometimes do that. There we go, that's locked in, and now he's locked in. Awesome. He's very tall, actually. I believe he's taller than Nozzles and Bog Zombie, which is sweet. And with his head, he will be a little bit lower than that with his head, but I believe that's that set up now. So the next step of this is going to be attaching his shoulder kind of frame here with the plastic coverings. So you just slide them into, I believe these two are the same actually, I think, into the slots here. They actually are not. So one of them is bigger than the other, and that means you got to slide it into the right size slot. If it doesn't fit, you know you got the wrong side. That just kind of helps keep it facing the correct way, so that the shoulder, even though I believe they should be the same on either side, so it really shouldn't matter a whole heck of a lot. But next is going to be attaching the other back frame here, or the kind of gives him his hunchback appearance. And I believe this goes in like so. Yep, these slide in that way. Once again, two different sized, I believe, two different sized holes and holes to make sure that you slide it into the right slot there. And make sure you don't have it facing the wrong way. So then there's two spots right here, here and here, where you actually connect the back extension, which I couldn't figure out what it was at the beginning unboxing it, but this is just an extension of the back plate here to kind of give it more form, I guess, to make sure it doesn't look too flat. And I believe that just slides over top, like so. Honestly, probably could have been one part, but this works too. Alright guys, so here is his cloak and stuff, and one thing I do want to point out that I actually really appreciate is just how heavy this is, which I assume indicates a good quality of material here. It's a very heavy material. It's a little tricky to find out where exactly everything goes at the moment, actually, because it's all kind of looks the same, but I'm sure once I put it on, it's going to look awesome. But I do know that somewhere is the hood. There we go. Found it. So, yeah, this is the hood part, and you can tell because there are two slits cut into the top of it, which, you know, obviously goes over the head, or around the head. It's backwards, but for the horns there. And that's kind of how you know. And then obviously these are the two armholes, so this is backwards on me, but it's meant to go on that, so yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a tricky maneuver here, but I'm basically going to be putting this over the top here, and then we're going to allow that to feed over top, or this is the head right here. So this is going to be a little weird because of how tall it is, but I'm sure we should be able to get it. But we're just going to throw it over top, kind of. So that's one of the, that's just the bottom there. Let me just pull it over. Hopefully this shouldn't actually be as difficult as I thought it was originally going to be. It doesn't look too bad. So that's the top right there. That's the hood. And that's one of the arms. So we can kind of shift that over. Something like that. And this is the other arm. So we've kind of got it. Kind of working. So yeah, it should be something like this for now. Once I get the arms and everything in, then it should work a little bit better. If I don't have this backwards here. Nope, the top is right there. So that is exactly how it needs to be. So Krampus is kind of like a goat, demon, anti-Santa type thing. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it. But in a way, he's kind of like the opposite of Santa. And Santa kind of has... is a human, kind of. You know. Spirits of Christmas, but whatever. So the thumb should be facing inwards. All that to just indicate that, which does look kind of funny. It looks like I'm going to grab you there. But very, very cool hands. I really do love the detail on these. And the inclusion of the rings, obviously probably a necessary feature, but still very, very cool. So for the arms to know which direction they go in, obviously they need to be facing inwards. It's not going to make sense to have it be facing this way. So this arm goes on this side and this arm goes on this side. So we're going to feed this one through first, just because. This one is labeled N. So N will go on this side. So you can kind of use this hood opening here to, use that to kind of see, and then you feel around and put it into the kind of fork slots that a lot of animatronics do. As cool as this animatronic is, and it's licensed, and one of the best licensed in my opinion, it has still got a generally, common animatronic setup for the most part. So the other hand goes in exactly like that one, the other arm actually, and you feed this through. You find the slot, which is just below the shoulder frame. So if you kind of bump into that, you know that the arm is underneath, like so. So you can see already it's looking very creepy. It just looks like a big hooded figure, which is awesome. Then you put the hands in. So the hand just slides into the forks, similar to how you did for the arms to the shoulders. That affixes like that. And somewhere on his robe, hopefully somewhere up top, there should be a spot for this Velcro strip to Velcro on to secure it so that it stays and so that it doesn't reveal his arm pole. So it's a little bit hidden. I believe they put it on the seam there. So you flip it like this, and then you Velcro kind of near the seam into there. So it works kind of like that. The one thing I'm not a big fan of, and hopefully that kind of changes if you make some adjustments here, is as you can kind of see, not really a big deal, but you can kind of see where the arm form ends, and then there's just the pole. Not too big of a deal. I think with some adjustment you can kind of counteract that. Just something I noticed though. The other hand we will install now. So it goes like that, and you slide that in. Once again, I'm looking for a seam to fix. Okay, this one is not on a seam here. It's pretty well hidden because it's nearly the same color of white. Velcro that onto there. I said Velcro that onto there. Kind of, there you go. And that keeps this cloak from moving too much. So at the bottom here, there will be a black Velcro strip right here. That corresponds with the hoof. So you just basically can attach that like so, and then throw that over. That kind of keeps that part covered. You can't see it super well, but it keeps covered. And then I believe along a few spots, there is these little white Velcro strips at the bottom that you can use to Velcro to different parts of the base to kind of keep that from moving, so you can keep everything covered as desired. I'm not going to do that right now because you can't really see it, but something to note that you do to keep the base covered. Up next, one of my favorite parts, as always, is attaching the head. So the head has two wires that I will connect once I attach. Just wanted to make a note of that now, because I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see that on video. But obviously the head goes to here, which is right now covered rather securely. So this just has that basic two-prong system, as with a lot of the animatronic heads. So you just put it, ooh, he's leaning a little bit. Put that in the two-prong here. And interestingly enough, the back is actually quite open to work with the wires at the end here. And there you go. You see he's starting to come together here. He accidentally got his hair caught there. You can throw the hood over top now. And there is a white Velcro once again. That corresponds with the spacing on his head here, the spot on his head, which is a nice latex, by the way. And then you can put in his horns. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it matters which one goes in where. I believe they're both the same. Yep, they're both labeled P, so they're both identical. Before you slide them through, there's Velcro underneath, right here, which is a little bit covered up by the hair on this one. But that corresponds to the Velcro on the hood. And you can kind of push the hood over a little bit to expose the holes on his head that these lock into. So really you can just kind of push this in here, similar to how you attach an animatronic head or an arm. Basically an animatronic appendage. tricky. It's not exactly wanting to go. There we go. It doesn't go all the way, unfortunately, but because that would go into his head. But then you Velcro the clothes over top, or you'd Velcro the little tabs on there, something like that, and then you would adjust it once again as you see fit, I believe, so that it's kind of covered up there and you look something like that. Then you'll do the exact same with the other side here. It is a little bit of a struggle to get the holes in, mainly because you don't want to press too hard because it like might damage the latex head, because it doesn't quite go all the way because they aren't exactly flush. But you basically do that, wrap, and then you pull this out a little bit, so you can take the white Velcro tabs and Velcro them to the top of the horns there. Alright, so I've got everything kind of adjusted a little bit. Obviously, you can adjust it more and do what you want to make it look how you want him to, like with his robe and everything. But the last step is basically just taking these chains here, which I did check the instructions on this one, and they're surprisingly like non-specific. You just like, it just says place chains as desired. So I haven't seen the movie this year. I usually watch it every year, but I haven't seen it this year, and I didn't really check. But we're not exactly gonna go for movie accuracy at the moment. I might go for it later, and I don't know, you know, how many chains he really has, so I don't know if they went for it. But you basically just can put them wherever the heck you want. And just, you know, go as you choose to put the chains. But I'm going to try to use all of them if I can. I'm definitely going to put at least one big one with the bell around his neck. Something to note is to be a little bit careful, just to, like, when it comes to the lines, because as you can see, I put it here. It did work out, but sometimes the chains are, some of the ones with the bells are a little bit heavier. So they kind of might like take away the illusion and make him look more like an animatronic than a realistic prop. Even though he does look super realistic and is super awesome. So if you want to keep with the realism, just I guess something to be careful of is to be careful of the chains being a little bit too heavy in some spots and kind of ruining the effect. Some of these chains are a little bit dinky, to be honest. I'm not sure why they included like one this small, or these ones that are that small. I'm not exactly sure what to do with them. I think you can't really put them together, or you can. Okay, so the chains you can connect and make longer if you so choose, which I might do because there are a few that just are unreasonably short. So I'm just gonna kind of throw him over his arms. If I do a demo of him, which might actually come out soon, I'm probably gonna try to get it as close to the movie as possible. But I'm gonna throw one more around his neck here. Oh. These are a whole chain, so just throw it around his neck there. Also be aware of his beard, because you don't really want it to get stuck too tangled there, but it happens, so. Alright, that should work for now. That is Krampus. Obviously you can style his beard a little bit, because mine is a little bit goofed up, but it's okay. Anyway guys, that is the chains. Very non-specific, I just kind of did them how I felt like it. I just was like, oh, okay. Just threw him on there. That works. Honestly, he looks so cool and he's so awesome. One of like my favorite prop that I own at this point. Quick note. There are two wires on his head. There's one that's kind of got almost like a try-me button type clip, and one that has a or like a black, like the SVI lights, so this might be an SVI animatronic. You have to click those in, obviously. So remember to do that. There's a note to do that, because if you don't, then the eyes aren't going to light up or anything like that. But the last step is to take box R, which it's been a while since I've seen one of these in good condition, because the animatronics I've been working with. But you can go to box R and you can pull out the adapter. I believe this guy is made by YJ, just based on the adapter and what I can remember. It's a 5.9 volts, and it looks like a SVI one, but I don't believe SVI made this guy. I don't think. Maybe not. Let me know in the comments down below. But it looks like an SVI adapter. But anyway, you take your adapter, you plug them into the box, you turn them on, and you see if it works. yeah, guys, that was the unboxing, setup, and demo of Krampus from Spirit Halloween 2022. No, my hat's missing. It's warm in here. I'm sorry. This guy is absolutely awesome. The best Christmas animatronic, in my opinion. You know, you've got the old, like, Jemmy Santas and the new Jemmy Santas and all those swing things. Those can all just go. We don't need those guys. This Krampus animatronic is where it's at. It is by far, in my opinion, obviously, but the best Christmas animatronic you can buy. Very expensive, but in my opinion, worth it. I mean, I got it as a gift, but very awesome. Would highly recommend it. A couple of notes, or just a quick note here. You might be wondering why I said that you plug 2 wires in, and something I didn't realize is this guy actually runs on a motion sensor. He's got a motion sensor option, and the motion sensor is actually very well hidden in his mouth. So hidden that even when I looked at it directly to look at the face, I didn't know he had a motion sensor. So very well hidden, actually, in his mouth. Super cool. Alright, guys, I did want to add the lighting here, just so you guys can get a good look at this guy, because I noticed that the lighting wasn't great, and I knew that from the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see him a little bit better, just for these last shots, because I figured, you know, the rest of the video was okay and worked, but I did want you guys to be able to get a good look at all the shadowing on his face here, when we have some light hitting it, so I figured I'd do it at the end here, while I make a few more notes. So something I did want to mention is he does in fact actually have 2 activations. I thought he only had 1, and I was totally okay with just 1. You know, you know, because it makes sense because it's just sounds and rattling. But it is cool that they included a second one, which is a lot shorter. The first one is quite a bit longer, and then there's a second shorter one, which is kind of nice because it kind of does break it up a little bit and adds a little bit of variety there. And that's about it. That's about all I have for notes on this animatronic. He's very cool. His setup is actually pretty simple. It just has a lot more plastic bits than I'm used to. It is a little difficult if you like are a bit of a shorter person or anything, considering the fact that you do have to mess around with some stuff up here, but not really a big deal if you have like a step stool or anything like that. But overall, very simple, very cool, and very, very well detailed. So that's about all I have to say for this video and this unboxing. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you all are having a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. I think the chain just fell off. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and Merry Christmas.